Hey guys, Russell Linville here, sports physical therapist and strength coach. Hey, we're at Training House. We're in their gym. Thank you, Training House, for letting us use your equipment through most of these videos. Today we're going over, it's a squatter day, so it's a Saturday. We're going over a barbell back squat. So a couple things we've gone over in the past. We've gone over the air squat. We've gone over a split stance squat. And today we're going to start working on how do you get underneath of a bar to start increasing weight and load and all those things, right? It's just one of our variables of intensity that we can modify. So outside of holding dumbbells or kettlebells or whatever, this is a variation. And this is a very, very popular, of course, movement. A lot of you guys have probably done this before, but today I hope to give you some tips on how I set up, things to look for as you go up and down, and then how do you know you're doing this efficiently and correctly, right? And then some other things from a PT standpoint, trying to marry physical therapy world with strength conditioning world, because I think there's a lot of biases on both sides. Maybe you shouldn't go as deep, or maybe you can't do a partial rep, right? PT versus strength coaches. And we're going to figure that out, and I'm going to give you my opinion, of course. And of course, I'm an expert in my own opinion. But my opinion usually is backed by evidence-based research, and I'll try to link some articles in the comments section of this, or the show notes, so that you can see that one partial range of motion reps are okay, and also that deep squats are okay. But let's look at how we set up on the bar here. So first off, roll over here. The barbell, it's a standard barbell. You know, it's got different types of patterning on this, right? So this is what we call knurling. Knurling is just this rough surface, and then you have the smooth surfaces. So this is just a standard barbell. It has this one, I don't know, what, about 6 inches out. Nice smooth ring here that can help you figure out where to place your hands on the bar during a squat or a bench press or a deadlift or whatever. Just a way to recognize hand position during a movement. So this knurling in the middle, that's where I try to put the center of my back, and I'll show you here from an angle. And then I try to put my thumb right where this knurling starts, and then I spread my hand out wide, just like this, and then I grab on. So if you look from the other side, it might be a better angle. You put your thumb right on the edge of the knurling there. You separate your thumb, stretch out, and grab on. That's how I grab the barbell. I don't try to grab it with a hook grip, which would be like this. I just grab it with a standard grip. Okay? The other thing I think about doing is making sure that my spine is right in the middle here, and it's resting on my trap. So I'm going to show you how I get under the bar here. So again, hand placement, we go out, you get under the bar. I'm resting that right on my traps. I should almost be able to stand up and not really hold the bar, and the bar's resting on me there, right? And we come down. And so as we do the squat here in a second, you'll see how that's positioned. The other thing is, you're under the bar. I like to pull the bar into my spine. I think that creates a good compressive force that can stabilize your movement pattern here. So for instance, we get under the bar again, get your hand placement, get under, and then I actually pull my shoulder blades downward, depress like this. That helps me create at least some compression for a neutral spine position as I descend and ascend through the movement. So one thing we talk about with our air squat, right, is how do we maintain a neutral spine position? And so if you haven't learned that yet, I want you to go back. We talk about the squat box, not letting that open or close. So I want you guys to go back to that first video, review that if you forget that. I am wearing, and I usually do this, so the whole reason I'm doing this today, right, is because I just got done with a really heavy barbell back squat day. Worked up to 90% of 1 rep max, and then did 2 burnout sets of our 10 rep max to try to find a new 10 rep max. So just part of my training program that I'm doing. So I thought, hey, I'm already under the barbell today, let's do this video. And when I usually do a lot of volume of back squats, or I do heavy weights, I usually wear our Olympic lifting shoes. So see if I can get a shot of this in the camera. But these lifting shoes, they give you a little boost in the heel, right? So there's a pitch upward, so it puts you at a slant, gives you a heel lift essentially. And what that does is it essentially gives you more ankle dorsiflexion range of motion, or pseudo dorsiflexion range of motion, so that up the kinetic chain you can keep a more neutral spine position as you have heavier loads. So if you're struggling keeping a neutral spine and getting full depth, and you've worked on your hips and you've worked on your ankles a lot, it's okay, from a physical therapist standpoint, it's okay So hopefully I'm giving you some permission to use Olympic lifting shoes, even if you're not a really heavy Olympic lifter, right? Because I care about movement mechanics and movement efficiency. If that little bit helps and you're continuing to work on ankle mobility, then do it. What's the big deal? I mean, people have such strong opinions about this. Helps you move better, just do it. So I'm going to go over a couple ascents and descents here. You're going to watch me move, and then hopefully I can give you some pointers on that. Hopefully you've already learned something. So we step back here. Again, let's go over our checklist. You approach the bar, find your hand placement. This might be wider or narrow, depends on who you are. Figure that out on your own. You can play with that. Separate, you get under the bar. Unwrap the weight. Take a step back, make sure you're clear of the pegs that the bar was sitting on. You're going to depress your shoulder blades. Create some tension. My feet are about the same width they are during the air squat. I'm also not turning my feet out. I don't know if you can see me with the video here, but my feet are turned out like a sumo position. And my feet are not really pointing straight ahead. It's okay to have a little bit of turnout. Okay? You're going to wind up your tissues through your hips. You're going to try to keep a neutral spine position as you descend and ascend out of the squat position. Notice my torso does not really move forward or backwards as I move during this movement. It stays relatively neutral. So here we go again. Come down and back up. Some common mistakes that we see as soon as you unhinge the hips, we see a big lordotic curve or sticking your bottom back. Or as you come down, you don't have the ankle mobility, so you roll onto your heels and your upper body stays neutral, but you're putting undue stress through your lower extremities. So, we'll rack this weight up. Of course, as you get more efficient with just the barbell, you're going to start progressively adding weights. It's important that if you add weight, make sure you got good mechanics, good form. Get in with a strength conditioning coach. He can really help you with some of the movement patterns here. But, we just talked about getting low, and so for me, my ankles are notoriously, I don't know if I have the mobility there. I've been working on for years, and can't see. I think there's maybe some bony morphology that does not allow me to get more range of motion in my ankles. So what do I have to do? To keep a neutral spine, I use some heel lifts. It's totally fine. The other thing I could do if I didn't want to use my Olympic shoes is I could just do partial range of motion reps. It's totally fine. You can do a quarter squat. You're still getting good neurological input, loading a barbell, loading your tissues, and doing quarter squats. It's totally fine. Think about this. From a strength conditioning and PT perspective, what's the most athletic position people get into, right? It's this ready position, or finding your base position or your snap down position. If I'm loading a barbell, whether it's a front squat or back squat, and I get into this position, this movement pattern translates to a lot of different sports, right? This is how we do a jump shot. It's how we would swing a baseball bat. It's how a golfer would swing. For God's sakes, this position, but on your hand is a lineman stance, right? That is the most athletic position we can get into. So if you're thinking about translatable movement patterns, a quarter squat might be more translatable to athletic performance than a deep squat. I think unequivocally we can say a deep squat has more glute EMG activity, and try to link to that article there. So if you're trying to build glute mass or hypertrophy or strength, going deep as you can is probably better than doing a quarter squat. But either way, just load a barbell. Just freaking get under a barbell. All right, stop messing around. Just get after it. These are some tips. If you got any questions or you have your own tips that you do to prep or prepare for a barbell back squat, hit the comments. Right, I'd like to hear from you. I know you guys have your own opinions, so I'd like to hear them. This is what this is all for, right? It's to share our own ideas, our own opinions, and we learn that way, don't we? So I appreciate you guys' time. If you like these videos, click subscribe. You can share this video. And again, this has become a Better Human project. This is a barbell back squat day. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Russell Linville. Thanks.